Hi everyone, today I'm gonna show you how I actually investigate and report a bug as a QA engineer. We are going to use the real example from the platform that I use for preparation to the certification, and I'm gonna walk you through how I usually investigate it, how I use best QA practices to structure the report, and in the end I'm gonna show you how we can enhance our workflow. So let's go. So I'm now preparing for ISTQB certification. For the record, ISTQB is an international organization which sets the standards for software testing and also provides various certifications. The one that I'm preparing for is testing with generative AI. So I'm using this website to practice. They have this study mode where I can choose the type of certification, and also it gives an opportunity to choose the specific topics, all of them or some of them, right? So since at the moment I am done only with chapter 1, I wanted to practice only questions on this topic. So I disable all other chapters. Also have a possibility to choose 10, 40 or 100 questions. When I choose 10 questions, everything is fine, but when I choose 40 questions, then I get the questions not only from the first chapter, but also from other chapters. Let's see how it is working. So it's showing me that I've chosen 40 questions only for this chapter, like 100% of the questions will be on this chapter. And when I click study, I don't know, maybe I will find you, for example, this one, a primary function of a system prompt. This is definitely chapter 2, prompt engineering, which you know from the syllabus. That's why this is a bug. So I want to report this bug together with you. And I have an assumption why this is happening. Usually when I'm reporting the bug, I always do the root cause analysis, thinking like what can be the cause of it, how we can fix it, is it reproducible, and if I have an access to the production data, I can also check how often it happens on production. In this case, since this is not my project, of course I don't have access to anything. We can only do the black box testing. So when I was using this website for preparing for foundation level certification, I didn't have this issue. I also went chapter by chapter and have chosen various number of questions. So I think that the problem is that this chapter don't have 40 questions. That's why some fallback is happening, or I don't know. Judging from the URL, I see that the request is correct, right? We have only one topic. Let's go back and see what will happen if I choose other topics. For example, let's choose second, first, and fifth. So yeah, we see that in this case we are sending like second, fifth, and the first topic. I guess that the problem is not in the request. We can also, just in case, check out the network. I don't know if something useful is going on there. Let's go to the DevTools. Let's go to the network, clear everything, and click on Start Studying. Yeah, however, I don't see that we have some useful requests here. This is not what we need. Yeah, by the way, this question about the tag vector is also definitely not from the first chapter. If I had an access to the database, I for sure would check how many questions this GenAI one chapter has. If I had an access to the code, maybe I would see how this function is working, which is selecting the questions that are going to be shown, but I don't have this access. So okay, let's probably go to the composing the bug report right away. I'm gonna use just a note here because I want to send them this report. That's why I'm not going to use some backtracking system. Let's try to follow the industry standards. of writing the bug report, we will start with summary. Usually summary is written in the what, where, when format, so let's do that. This is the brief description of what is the sense of the bug, like what is it about. So the questions from other chapters are shown in a quiz. Okay, this is what and where quiz. When 10 questions are selected for okay, Gen AI 1. Maybe this is enough, we will see. So next one, steps to reproduce. And before that, okay, let's write precondition. User is on the home page. Right, let's go to the home page and click on Start Study Mode, right? Sorry, click on Start Study Mode button. Okay, we need to choose STGenAI category. Select STGenAI category in exam category. Okay, I guess this should be clear. Right. Next one for you. Okay. How do we call it? Select GenAI 1 chapter. Only GenAI 1 chapter. Okay. Also, it is important to leave number of questions, but since this is the default option and we didn't do this step, I will not specify it, and click on Start Study section again. On Start Study, what is it? Session button. Okay. We are not changing anything here, so click on Start Study. Right. Of course, this is all really time consuming, you know, there are already tools that can make us the bug report just from the UI, but we're not going to cover them in this video. Maybe I will show it in some of the next videos on the channel. So let's go to the expected and actual result. Expected. Only questions for the GenAI 1 chapter are shown, and the actual result is questions from other than GenAI 1 chapter are shown. Okay. As to the environment, of course, this is like also the standard to specify in which environment I was testing, but I don't know. I'm pretty sure that this bug doesn't rely on the browser type or whatever. So this is something in the logic somewhere in the flow. So let's put it macOS, Google Chrome browser. If it was the project I was working on, of course I would specify if it's a production environment, development environment, pre-prod or whatever, sandbox, I don't know. But it's gonna be obvious that this is the production. I don't know, maybe we can specify it. Won't harm. Okay, and we will for sure leave our comment that the bug is not reproduced if 10 questions are chosen, or if 40 questions 1 chapter are chosen for STFR certification. Okay, the assumption is that there are less than 40 questions on the Gen AI1 topic. Right, so what would be the proper way to treat this situation? Obviously, not all chapters can have 40 or even 100 questions. Maybe it would be better to either disable these buttons if I do some improper selection, right? Or maybe if I do that, for example, yeah, maybe here I should have some warning or something that, you know, like there are less than 40 questions, please choose 10 questions or whatever. So this is definitely something that should be treated within the website. We could write the recommendation here, but I don't know, let's leave it for now. So what are we going to do next? I would like to optimize this bug report with the help of AI. Let's use really basic stuff like ChatGPT. Of course, you can use other tools when you work with that. You can even create a rule or a skill in a Claude, how you want your bug report to be improved, what are the standards on your project, because it really can differ from project to project, right? But now we are going to do it from scratch and make something like this. Let's do meta prompting. Actually, I will ask at first ChatGPT to compose a prompt for me. I am a QA engineer. I have made a bug report and want it to be improved to sound professional, clear, and in compliance with industry standards. Industry standards. Okay, can you help me to compose a proper prompt for a model? Okay. Yes, this is true. It's a great idea as always. Right, ChatGPT is suggesting us to use the standard prompt structure, like with the role, with the tasks, with the requirements. Okay, I will not probably use all of it because I'm not going to set up the severity, priority, impact, and so on. Okay, this I like. The rest we will not paste for now because I want to make it simple. Yeah, so I guess this should be clear. Let's see how it's gonna improve my report. Type and priority. Okay, good. Nice. What did it change? Almost nothing. Expected result on the questions. Notes the issue is not repeated when it is suspected that an customer few of them. Yes, so I can't say it changed a lot. What about title? Quiz displays questions from other chapters when selected. Yeah, it doesn't change much. I don't know. It means that my prompt was not good, or I'm good at bug reporting and did everything nice. Okay, whatever. By the way, if I would do this on a real project, I think that I would include the screenshot, because I know that developers really often go to the screenshots and sometimes they really quickly grab what is the sense of the issue from it, instead of going through all the steps and realizing like what was happening. So I would do something like that. Yeah, this is definitely the question from the chapter 2 prompt engineering, so I would make such a screenshot. and I would make some notes on it. For example, I would focus on here and write that, and I would write something like only chapter 1 is selected. Yeah, okay, something like this. And I would point that this is question from chapter 2. So yes, I guess that with the look on this screenshot, it would be obvious what is my bug about. I would attach it to the bug report definitely. And by the way, if we are using AI, we can also make some skill and connector to the bug tracking system that we use, for example Jira, and it could report this bug right away just from our web chat. I'm thinking about making a video on this topic in future, so we will not go into details about that now. And what I want to do is I want to actually report this bug to the company that owns the platform, because I really like it and I want them to develop. So I see only the contact support here. I guess I can write it here. I will write my name, I will write my email, and in the message I want to make a bug report. We can, by the way, ask AI to help us. Let's go just through the summary. Hello, would like to report a potential issue I encountered while using the study mode on the platform. Summary. Okay, steps to reproduce actual result, additional notes. Not bad, not bad. Okay, let's send the message. If you're interested, I will let you know if they answered me or not and what did they answer. If this was interesting for you, let me know. I'm planning to do more such content on real QA examples, and especially focusing on AI and improving your workflows. I'm also curious, how would you improve my bug report? If you have any thoughts, please drop them in comments. See you soon.